Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Hart. Welcome to the Hart of New York show. And this happens to be one of my most inspiring shows ever. Because what you're about to hear is something that is such a beautiful thing that it touches my heart, and I'm sure it's going to touch your heart. We have Sunrise Day Camp of Staten Island here, and they're New York City's first full summer day camp for children with cancer and their siblings, ages 3.5 to 16. And this is offered free of charge. And today we have Sandy, camp director, Rebecca, the assistant director of the JCC of Staten Island, which is the Jewish Community Center. And we have the main person of the show here, Jake. He's one of the campers. And his mom, Susan. And we got Vinny, who is the CEO of the Catholic Charities of Staten Island. Welcome, all of you today.
Thank you.
I am so privileged and honored to meet you all and knowing what you do for people like this guy right here and for many, many more. So, Sandy, let's get right into it. Tell us all about how to start, what you're about to do, and how everybody can help.
Thank you. So Sunrise Day Camp Staten Island started in 2013 on the grounds of Mount Loretto. We have grown. We're going into our third year. The purpose of Sunrise, the mission, is to provide a free day camp for children with cancer and their siblings. Our kids come to camp from all over the metropolitan area, New Jersey, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and they're there to have fun. As we like to say, we keep cancer outside the four walls of camp. We just want kids to have fun, to enjoy themselves, to bring some normalcy back to their lives.
Boy, does it get any better than that?
It does not.
Rebecca, how is the JCC of Staten Island, what do they have to do with it?
The JCC is very proud to operate the day camp and its year-round programs at no charge to the families. We hire, we train, we staff the program, we provide transportation, early morning drop-off, late afternoon pickup. All of this is provided free of charge so that the families are not burdened with the cost, and so that the children can, as Sandy said, have a typical summer and maintain friendships throughout the year. The JCC, therefore, because the camp is offered and programs are all offered free of charge, the JCC needs to raise a significant amount of money in order to support the programming.
How do you do that?
We run a number of fundraisers throughout the year. Our biggest one is coming up on June 3rd, and that is our Sunrise Walks. It is a walk that's held on the grounds of Catholic Charities at Mount Loretto, which is where the camp is also held.
Right.
It's a relatively small, quick walk and ends with a carnival and a lot of fun, music, DJ, entertainment, you name it, and it's a great day for the family to get out and enjoy. That's only one of the events. We also run a number of events, dinners, galas, comedy shows, all types of fundraisers that are run by community members, not only run by the JCC throughout the year.
And this helps contribute to the funding of the camp for the summer. And how long does that go on for?
It's really year-round.
It's year-round?
The funding needs to happen on a continual basis because we need to raise about $600,000 per year in order to operate all of these programs.
Okay, and what programs are you talking about?
Aside from the camp that we operate, we also run some social programs on the weekends. We also operate something called Sunrise on Wheels, which is run at a number of area hospitals. What we do there is that we bring literally a large trunk of toys and activities into the hospital, and the children that are in the hospital at the time, whether they be Sunrise campers or just community members that are in the hospitals, they are visited by a staff member or a volunteer who will come in and entertain them for a little while and get their mind off the fact that they're in the hospital receiving treatment, surrounded by all of the medical personnel. It just takes them away from it for a little while. And so that's one of our main programs. We also operate, as I mentioned before, Sunday programs, which Sandy can tell you a little bit more about, but There's a variety of programs so that
Oh.
the children can maintain friendships
That's
throughout
a
the
beautiful
year.
thing, because it's just not a summer camp.
Correct.
We're going
Yes.
year-round on this to help get those four walls out, keep cancer out. And
Absolutely.
the kids in, doing great. Vinny,
Yes.
thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Now, you are the CEO of Catholic Charities of Staten Island.
Yes.
And how did you get involved with JCC?
Well, my good friend David Sorkin, who's the executive director of the JCC, and Rebecca and Sandy all came and they said, how could we work together and establish a camp?
How did that happen, though? How did they get together? They had lunch
They called
together?
me.
You know, I like, right.
David is an old friend, called me and said, listen, we want to work together. What do you think about establishing a camp for kids? And, you know, it's so fitting that we're on the show Heart of New York, because this is the true hearts of all Staten Islanders, those of the Jewish faith,
Right.
those of the Catholic faith, coming together and saying, how can we help kids? God forbid any of us have to deal with illness in our family, let alone cancer of a child, which is appalling on so many levels. So we came together and we said we could make life a little bit better. We had great grounds. We had a great program, and we believe that the Sunrise Walk, which we're going to keep hitting because it's important for New Yorkers to hear, which underwrites the whole thing on June 3rd, is held on our grounds to help raise all the funds to put these kids through camp. And it was a great partnership from the Jewish community and the Catholic community on Staten Island, and this camp is for anyone and everyone. Sadly, cancer knows
This
bounds.
campground is on the Catholic
On Catholic Charities. Property,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's on there, and you two all of a sudden just got together, joined hands, and got this beautiful thing going. It's fantastic.
Correct. We view ourselves very much as partners to raise as much funds as we can on our walk to be able to send these kids to camp. And just when I drive up from work every day and see kids playing, there's nothing like it. I started singing the songs one time.
There we go. Right.
Not very well. but I sang.
Like, for instance, you
But,
wanna-
Sunrise Day Camp.
Yes.
It's the best camp.
There we go.
Here we go.
Here we
See,
go.
wait.
And here, right here is the man. Okay, this is Jake. He's a camper, right, brother?
Yep.
You're the star of the show.
Yay.
Hey, how about that, huh? Well, tell us what this camp means to you.
It means a lot to me. It
Yeah?
gives, like, kids who are very sick with cancer, it gives their life back from cancer and school.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that.
And it's really fun.
So you enjoy going to the camp.
Yes.
Do you do other things with them throughout the year?
We get together.
Yeah.
Remember, we had reunions.
Right.
You got a
Right.
reunion?
Couldn't
Great.
wait for them.
So what do you do at the camp? Why don't you tell everybody what you do at the summer camp?
Usually, like, we play, like, sports, like gaga ball, soccer, football.
Swimming?
That's usually after lunch, like splash pad.
Okay.
And, yeah.
And it makes you feel good? Mm-hmm. Makes you forget about what you're going through? Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful thing. That leads us to you, Susan, because as a mom of Jake, it's no one can imagine what it's like unless they go through it.
No, it's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
I believe
it's
that.
The stress is what you go through just to keep your child alive. We've been going through treatment. Thankfully, Jake is over his treatment. He ended it last August, 3.5 years of chemotherapy.
Oh my goodness.
And spinal taps and shots and blood draws. It's so involved.
What type of cancer?
Leukemia.
Okay.
Leukemia. And he has another 5 years, for checkups and everything, spinal taps, bone marrows, see how everything goes. We know he's going to be okay, right? And then we're clear after that. Well, you're never clear, but I could have more peace of mind. But the camp's really been great because I don't worry about him. He goes to camp, send him off. He likes to get there before everybody. Camp open, it's at 9, I think, and he wants to be there 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, which is hard for me. He loves it. He absolutely loves it, doesn't want to come home. And the thing is, I don't have to worry about anything. Like I said, cancer is not normal, but they give him normalcy back. They give him his childhood, the part of it he misses from all the treatments, the hospital visits.
What has it done for you? I mean, what's some of the pain and sorrows that, if you don't mind talking about it, that you have gone through?
Well, it's just it's a different way of living. We take one day at a time. It's very, very stressful going through this because in the back of your mind, you don't know if your child's going to live or die. And to deal with that every single day, that's the hardest thing in the world.
And you don't mind your mother talking like this. You're strong.
Yeah.
You're strong because you know you're going to be healthy and right.
I leave like going through cancer. I
Right.
leave that behind me.
You
that was
leave it
in the
behind you.
past.
Wow.
That's
how about
right.
that?
That's what we try and get over. We do it day by day, and I said we don't talk about the bad times. We've had a lot of bad times.
What kind of bad times?
Well, just when diagnosis, you're in your own world for a while. You're walking around, you don't know what's up, what's down.
How'd you find out about it?
He was just getting sick and sick and sick, and he was starting to get very pale, and he was getting bruises all over himself. And just a mom's instinct. You know something's wrong. You know something's wrong. He was to the doctor many times, but leukemia is like the great imitator. It's hard to diagnose flat out until it's fully 100% in the body.
Oh, really?
So by the time they diagnosed it, it was 100%. And we started chemo within 2 days. And then, we never looked back because there are times I tend to spiral down, because of all we've gone through. And then I just snap out of it, look at him, say he's going to be okay. And we just continue. We continue on. I mean, we're a unique breed, those of us going through this. It's just, it is one of the hardest things ever in the world to go to. But, you stay strong, and you have to be strong for your family, for your child.
How's your faith? Do you believe in God?
Oh yes,
You believe in
very,
God?
very strongly. And I know he's listening to me. He's heard me throughout this whole thing.
He has.
Yes, he has.
Maybe sometimes at a higher voice, like I used to,
Yes.
with anger. Why me? Why?
No, I never said that.
You didn't?
I never
What did you say?
I never said why me, because even from the get-go I said, well, why me? That's condemning some other poor child to this if I say why me. And I never thought of it that way. I just said maybe this is something we were supposed to go through, to do things like this to help others, because he was still in he got over his frontline treatment, which was 9 months of intensive chemo, until he got onto maintenance, and then we started fundraising.
What's maintenance?
Maintenance is where they're still on chemo for 3 years, but it's not as intense, although it is. You still get a lot of chemo, but frontline, it's like every day for 9 months, almost every single day.
Every day?
Every day. He had a port, but now he has it out, so he doesn't get chemo anymore. It's a very intense treatment. Each cancer is different. Leukemia is a 3.5-year treatment. And it's very, very tough treatment. But like I said, maybe we were supposed to go through this to help others, because I've always been a strong, outgoing person. And I said, all right, well, we can help others through Sunrise, through other organizations, and we have. We do a lot of fundraising for all different things. And
For instance, why don't you tell everybody?
well, Sunrise, we're always at the walks, we're at all the fundraising dinners. Jake gets up and speaks. That's where he got his standing ovations.
No kidding.
2 of them, yes.
Wow, I'm not even surprised, Jake.
We're involved in other organizations that look into the cure part of cancer, because I'm a big proponent of that. And, anything we can to help others.
Okay.
We're there, and that's our mission, I think.
How old are you, Jake?
11.
11 years old. And what a great attitude he has. We leave it all behind and we go forward. That's
Yep.
what you said, right? So what do you do with the other kids that have suffered what you're going through? When you go, you guys evidently you don't want to talk about it. You want to move ahead, right? So what do you say and do with the other kids?
Well, we talk about like things that we like Minecraft or stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you get older?
I don't really know.
Really?
You know what? Like I said, we just basically stay to the one day at a time.
One day at a
We
time.
don't like, we pass this milestone, we go on to the next. That's the way we live our lives now.
I have to say it's a very healthy way to live a life one day at a time, and be grateful to the
We
day
appreciate
that we have,
everything, yes.
and do the best you can, and thank God for it. That's what come back to you guys like you, Sandy, that are out there helping this, man.
These are our wonderful parents and,
Right.
and our camper.
Uh-huh.
I mean, what you've heard here is exactly what we hear from all of our parents. They've gone through the exact same thing that Susan and Jake
The
has gone through.
unimaginable. Unimaginable.
It is so very difficult.
Right.
But as Susan said, we move along day after day. And Sunrise has been, and you've said it many times, Susan, a very important piece of,
Oh, yeah.
of your family and of life. And that's just, we're so glad that we could be there for your family. And you could be part of our family. Because very frankly, we call it the Sunrise family.
Not too many places you can go where your child going through cancer, you're safe, secure, you
Right.
don't have to worry about him.
Right.
I
So
drop
you
him
drop
off and
him
I
off?
don't, I go to
Oh.
work and I don't think
think about it.
anything else.
You drop them off and then you pick them up.
Yeah, and I have peace of mind.
Means you're doing your
Yes.
job.
Yeah.
How are you doing your job?
Well, you know, I was just going to remark that often we've heard parents say this is the first time that they've ever heard their child talk about anything but cancer.
Right.
And you know what? That's what
Right.
makes me be able to do my job, and it keeps me, you know, on track. There's crazy days, there's rough days, but hearing this, you know, that's what it's all about. And we're glad that you have fun at camp. That's all we want you to do.
Yes.
Then we're doing our job. That's what our job is.
That's our job. That's their job.
That's
Now,
our job.
And they
you
do it very well.
Joined hands with them
Yes.
and got all this.
Yes.
So where do we go from here?
Well, it's our third summer.
Third summer.
And we hope to be in operation for many, many more summers. You know, we want to, on the one hand, see the camp grow to serve more children, to serve more families. But of course, that's a hard thing because we don't want to serve more families. We don't want to see people going through this. But I think the way we look at it is, you know, again, the more children and families that we can help, how can this be a bad thing?
That's the whole thing. But you got the best attitude of all, brother. You got a winning attitude. I admire that. I respect that. Because not only are you going through it and you know you're leaving the worst behind, you're out there passing it on to your buddies. How does that make you feel?
Good.
Yeah?
Yep. And the reason why I like to get to Sunrise early is because I could like play games with the counselors,
How
and
about that?
the counselors are also my friends, and yeah, I have a great time.
What kind of games you play?
Like Uno, Jenga, Connect Four, Monopoly. Yeah. It's just amazing.
I
And
bet
you-
you win every time.
And you want to be a counselor,
So-
right?
so-
Right?
I want to be a counselor.
You want to be a
That's right.
counselor.
There we
You
go.
will be a good counselor,
That's right.
too.
Really important.
Tell us more about this.
So, you know, one of the things I want to talk about is our relationship with Vinny and his staff. During the summer, we had 3 children who were in wheelchairs. And Vinny came over to the splash pad and said, wait, we've got these plastic wheelchairs, and it'd be great for you guys to use them. Because our kids were in wheelchairs, we couldn't bring them in the splash pad. And Brittany brought those over. And those kids were underneath the, you know, in the wonderful New York hot weather, the humidity that we have. We were able to roll them under the splash pad, and they could join their friends.
Wow.
And that was really special. This was truly us working together to ensure that our kids were having a great summer.
And
So
Pete,
that's
the
very
irony of
important.
that was that splash pad was donated by people who were trying to use it for developmentally disabled kids or kids who didn't have the abilities to get into a splash pad or get into a pool.
Right.
And now we just extracted that to our Camp Sunrise and our the other camps that we have, and so all kids can enjoy the splash pad together, regardless of ability or age or religion, creed, whatever you got. All kids are the same. They all want to have fun. They all want to play, and they do.
That's incredible.
And as Mom mentioned, he had a port which prevents children sometimes from going underwater.
Right.
And so the splash pad is really a sprinkler system so that all children, nobody feels left out.
Now,
And
this-
so it really is a beautiful
Is
thing.
this like a slide, a splash pad?
It's an area that has a fenced-in area, and it's
Yeah.
all kinds of sprinklers. For example, buckets that will fill up and dump on your head. I like that one.
Right?
too.
You like it, right? That's it.
Yeah, that's his favorite.
That's
Yeah,
my
exactly.
favorite one too. I like to see that dump on other people's head, not on mine. But it's all different types of little areas with sprinklers, and just so that they don't go underneath water.
Right.
But everybody can participate, whether they're in a wheelchair or they have a port, which is to receive medication, and it's a wonderful thing because nobody feels left out. Everybody's included.
And the other part is, if a child can't play soccer or kickball, we've got an alternate activity for them. So no one's ever left out. No one is just sitting on the sidelines.
Right.
They're always involved.
Is this a facility inside or outside?
Both.
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 So on rainy days-
On our rainy days, we're inside.
What are you doing then?
So we're doing games, we're doing talent show, we're doing a variety of different things. We also use the indoor gym, which is air conditioned. Thank you, Vinny. Because that's very, very important. And we're not allowed to go outside on rainy days, meaning outside of camp, because our kids have compromised immune systems. So we can't go bowling, we can't go to the movies. So our staff come together with the talent that they have and to make sure their kids are having a good time.
I'm telling you, it's just a beautiful thing what you're
Well,
doing.
our bases are covered all across.
Every
the
base is covered.
Yes.
Every base.
Yes.
So take it one day at a time. I'm all for that. But you got to plan ahead. So how do you do that?
With great difficulty.
Really?
Really. But right now, it's just, I mean, obviously, I have it in my mind, he's going to be okay. There's part of me in the back of my head that, wants to surface every so often, but I don't acknowledge that. I say, he's going to be okay, and, we're just going to go ahead. So, I mean.
I think everybody can understand that. Jake, I'm going to ask you something real hard to try and explain. When you go through chemotherapy,
Yeah.
what did you do to keep yourself with such a positive attitude? Because first, if you don't mind telling everybody, because it will help people like you. But I'd like you to tell them, number one, what you did to go through, how you got such a great attitude, and number two, and this is a tough one, and you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but was it painful?
Well, the first question that you asked, the way I stayed positive, I just thought of like whatever I liked, like video games, food.
What kind of food?
Like, well, it was before. It was either before or after I tried a Wendy's Big Mac, so like the Big Mac, yeah. And
So you think of Big Macs when you're going through that, huh?
or like any type of video game I like Mario Kart, Super Mario.
We watched a lot of movies too, like
Star Wars,
like Pacific Rim, where he pictured
Yeah.
himself as one of the big robots fighting.
Jaegers.
Fighting the cancer was the monsters, and he was the robot. In fact, we have a drawing. One of the directors sent it to
Yeah.
him. So he liked Star Wars. He was like a Jedi fighting the cancer with the lightsaber. We tried to put it in terms like that.
Was it painful?
Yes, it was definitely painful. Like every time I got, say, a fever or had to go back there for just like bone marrow and spinal tap, they couldn't like access they couldn't like get my port in that good, like the needle.
Yeah, that was
that
was hell.
I always scared them.
He did.
Yeah,
The whole hospital
like-
staff, like, oh no,
I
Jake's
was like,
coming in tonight. He's a good
'Cause
screamer.
It
hurt,
does
huh?
hurt. Yes, but my doctor, Dr. Graziano, like, we have a trick. I just sit up and let my feet dangle, and doot, it's in and out before I know it.
Do you pray?
Yes.
You want to, can you say what you pray? No? Okay, but you do.
Another thing that kept me positive, like, when I was nearly done with it, I met the actor who plays Winter Soldier, and me and him have a picture, and it says Super Mario Bros.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm telling you how you can go in there and sit down and think of these wonderful things when you're going through
Really painful stuff.
painful stuff. You're going to turn out to be, you might even turn out to be a strong politician.
Yay!
I think he was born to be that, to be honest.
That's my theory.
Rather
That's
food
my-
business. Maybe.
They're on steroids a lot, so that's why food always comes out.
Right,
Steroids
right,
make
right,
them eat
right.
a
Well
lot.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
So
Yes.
Sandy, we got a couple of minutes left. How would you like to tell people, let's get on board, let's make this the biggest, better year of ever?
So I'm so impressed with the Staten Island community coming together to support Sunrise Day Camp. Whether it's a small couple $100 donation, child just this week giving money from their first communion, or a major event like our Sunrise Walk that is raising a ton of money. Thank you, Staten Island community. Continue to support Sunrise Day Camp. Families like this, Jake, Susan, need our help, our collective help, to continue this wonderful program.
Amen. Rebecca, last words?
You said it great, Sandy. You know, we
Yeah.
just need a lot of support, and we serve children from many other boroughs and from New Jersey, and everybody knows somebody who's affected by this. And you know, just hearing this story, I get emotional, and I hope that people will know how much this service is needed, and not just for the children, but for their parents as well.
Thank you. Vinny, last words.
Yeah, I just want to say this is about celebrating life. This is about celebrating kids to
There we
run
go.
around,
Absolutely.
have fun, celebrate the summer like every other kid is enjoying. Somebody out there can do something to help Sunrise Camp, whether that's put a team together and walk, whether that's, you know what, I have something that would help the camp. Reach out to Camp Sunrise, reach out to us, and
And we'll
let's see
have
if we can have a better summer for these kids.
Well, Susan, last words.
I just appreciate everything that this organization does for myself and my son, my family, and just encourage others to just see this and, you know, support us, because it's about being basic human beings, you know, and understanding what people go through. And we do our part to help
Absolutely.
as well.
Jake, I want to ask you to take us out. You tell them that.
Thank you for watching and help Sunrise, and yeah, it was nice being on the show.